Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Enlightened Entrepreneur. Today's interview is sponsored by World Outsourcing Solutions, where we specialize in providing outsourcing services and virtual assistance to business owners here in the United Kingdom, Australia, UK, and Canada. Today's interview is entitled Digital Marketing, Critical Skills Every Business Owner Needs to Have and Develop if they are to succeed in today's market. And I'm very privileged today to have a special friend, a guest that has been doing this for the last 5 years and also partnering with a company that has been doing exactly the same thing for the last 20 years, in operation. And the guest I have today is Linda Waterhouse. Linda, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Yokai. I really appreciate you inviting me to be on your show today.
We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share your knowledge with our audience here today. And I know you're a very busy lady.
Well, there's always time to share my knowledge. I really love helping people start their businesses.
Incredible. One thing I like about Linda is she helps small business owners gain clarity, take action, and increase revenue with digital marketing solutions. She writes that there are so many different pieces to the online lead generation that business owners don't know where to start from. And that's where Linda comes in to show you exactly what you're to do and to show you what to implement and when. And I'm sure today, in our time together, you are going to discover some of those simple strategies that Linda has been teaching for years to her audience and also to the business that she's been working with. Now, to get us started, Linda, would you kindly share, how you got into this world of digital marketing?
Well, that's really interesting, Yokai, because as many people probably have experienced, you don't always end up where you thought you were going to start out when you started out in college or university. So I started as a software developer, and I did that for quite a few years. But then when I moved to be with my husband and to raise our family in New Jersey, I started taking classes at the local university on websites and SEO, search engine optimization, and other digital marketing. And I got really involved, and I decided that that was really where I wanted to focus my interest in.
Incredible. And then after that, you found yourself helping other people. Talk to us about that.
Well, I after I took a few courses, I found a part-time job working with a gentleman, actually the gentleman who owned my business beforehand. And we worked really well together, but he passed away in a tragic accident, which was devastating. But his wife asked me to continue his legacy. And at the time, I didn't really intend on being a business owner. But as I've mentioned, I saw this Richard Branson quote that says, if someone offers you an opportunity, take it and figure out how to do it afterwards. And I saw that and it really resonated with me. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run this company. And it's had its ups and downs, but I feel really good about the way that I have helped my clients understand digital marketing. And there's nothing I love better than to see their businesses grow because of the things that I've helped them with.
Beautiful. The one thing that I really like about you, Linda, is how you took the company with just a few or handful clients, and then went on to help build that. Would you talk to our audience about how you went on joining local Chamber of Commerce and other networking group and get your first client? How did you do it during that time of transition?
Well, it was interesting because we had 2 clients, and not 2 large clients, 2 small clients. So I knew that one of my first tasks was to, get more leads and get more clients. So I had talked to some of my friends, and they suggested that I join the local Chamber of Commerce, and it helped in a number of ways. Number one, it helped because I was exposed to other business owners. And although I had lived in the community for probably 12 years, I was more of a parent and, an adult living in the community. And I really had no idea how strong the small business community in my local area was. So it was fascinating to me to learn about all the different types of businesses, some I'd never even heard of before. And it helped in other ways too, because otherwise I was just sitting in my house all day by myself. And after a while, it can get kind of depressing. So having a few meetings to go to every month, it was a reason to, get up, get dressed, go out, talk to people. So that really helped my mental mindset, that I didn't feel like I was by myself.
Right.
The second way it helped was because you're required to, stand up and talk for about 30 seconds about your company. So it helped me clarify and be very concise to be able to explain what I did and who I was looking for and how I could help people. And that really helped me in many ways. I went on to join a BNI where some people don't like it because there's so many rules, but what I liked about it is that it also gave us training on how to present ourselves. So I would recommend any business owner who's starting out to definitely join some local business networking meetings.
Beautiful. What I love about what you just shared there, it solidifies, the fact that we always talk about here, with our members, is you just need to go out there. It doesn't matter, how you started, just go out there, be in the atmosphere, be in the environment where people are talking about business, and you will be amazed at what you learn from them by just observing what's happening and also, participating in the opportunity that you're given. It's amazing who you connect with and what you can build after that. Let's fast forward a few years later of you doing business. How are you picking up new clients, so to speak, to serve in your area?
Well, it's really interesting because obviously they come in a variety of ways. My favorite story, if you let me share, is when I was on a trip with my neighbor to Puerto Rico. We went there for a long weekend, and we were renting a Jeep.
Right.
And we went to the place to rent a Jeep, and the place that we had a reservation was closed. So we were looking on our smartphone, our cell phones, for another place. And we found another place that I went to, and they did not have a website that looked good on a mobile phone. Now, we call it mobile friendly, and that's actually very big these days. It's really important that when you're looking at your website on a smartphone, that you don't have to squint, that you don't have to, squeeze and stretch, because people really hate scrolling. So I had gone there and the people were great. And I said, by the way, your website is great, but it's not mobile friendly. Are you interested in getting a mobile friendly version? And she's like, yes. And she said, yes, I'll give you my husband's number. He's the one who takes care of that. And that was the easiest way to get a customer.
Incredible, yes.
I wish they were all that easy, but they're not. But it just goes to show that, you always need to ask, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. But most of the time I find people through networking events, or people, not necessarily even the people who are in the networking events, but they'll recommend me to somebody that they know. Or I'm a firm believer in continuing education. So I hired a business coach, and the people who were in her group, we've developed a mastermind together. And so we each do work for one another. Not everybody, but we try to help each other out as much as we can.
Incredible. You mentioned that networking events are, some of the most important ways that you're using to generate clients. What is the attitude or the mindset one has to have in order to succeed with networking events?
Oh, that you can't go there to sell. You really need to go there from a place of, how can I help the other people?
Yeah.
Now, whether it's what kind of a client are they looking for, and do I know anybody like that? Or, can I give them some, easy digital marketing tip that can help them? And I know it's kind of funny, here I am in digital marketing, and all I've talked about was, the early finding my customers with networking. But I am the first one to say that digital marketing is only one piece of the pie. You need to have multiple ways of finding clients. But that's how I found my early clients. As later on, as I built my my social engagement and email list, then, I have found people through those ways as well.
Incredible. Here's my story. This happens to me all the time. When I go to networking events, that's when people go onto my digital, marketing. Like they want to find me on Facebook, they want to find me on my on my website.
Yes.
Good to have those things going in the background, but I figure out that when I meet people, they then want to check me out. That's when they go onto my social media and they say, "Oh, actually, he's actually big. He's got clients in Australia, clients in the US. Oh, I better see what else he's doing." But many of them wouldn't have gone there first without meeting me. So networking events are still really good, and for me, they work perfectly well for me.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of a chicken and an egg because, if you have a decent website, then that gives you instant, credibility and validity, and they'll see, hopefully you have some testimonials on your website so that people will say, oh, this person has helped others, and that's good. I heard a term the other day for the first time. It was called DigCred. So like digital credibility.
Right. I like that.
So that's kind of big. And you have to be where your audience hangs out. So a lot of the times what we first have to do is figure out exactly who our target audience is. And if our answer is anyone, then we haven't thought about the problem long enough, because we really have to narrow it down in different ways, age, gender, demographics, interests, those types of things.
Right. Really appreciate that. Let me take you back again to those early years. If you were to do things differently, knowing what you know now, having been in business for so many years, what would you do differently? Maybe either more of or maybe less of?
Well, I would have focused more on building up my email list. That would have been my primary focus, instead of just going out and meeting people and not doing anything about it. Yeah. Now, in the United States, I'm not sure what the law is in England, but in the United States, there's an anti-spam law where you're not supposed to just put people on your mailing list without asking them first.
Yes, we have the same thing here.
Okay. So I think I was too afraid to be spamming people that I didn't put them on my email list. I didn't even ask them, and that was a mistake. So if I were to do it all over again, I would ask people that I met, is it okay if I, send you a cheat sheet on social media tips, or can I put you on my email list, and then have added them right away? Because there's only two things we really own in the digital marketing space. One is our website, and the other is our email list. It's great to have a huge, following on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn. But as we've seen, those companies can change their policies overnight, and we can lose, all of our fans and followings. I have known people whose Facebook page has been just shut down, and you can't get those people back if you don't have, some kind of backup email list. You have no way of contacting your fans and followers unless you had their email. So it seems kind of old-fashioned and boring, but it really is an important thing to keep in the back of your mind, that's the ultimate goal.
Incredible. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, for those who are starting out, really to get that right in the beginning. In your experience right now, Linda, what is really working that you are seeing a lot of experience in your own business that this is really, really working?
Well, again, this kind of sounds really boring, but it's consistency. Right. It's a lot of people build a website and then stop. And, whether it's because they don't have time or they don't have the money to do anything else. But like I tell people that building your website is like building a store, but then the marketing is what turns on the lights in the store. Like you can have a store, but nobody knows you're open unless you turn on the lights. And it's the same thing with a website. You can have a website, but nobody's going to find your website unless you're doing active marketing on it. And I think a lot of people don't really understand how important that is. They just think, oh, I have a website, people will find me. But it's really hard these days because there are billions of website pages out there, billions. Right. So how do we stand out? And people need to figure out a plan. Incredible. Some people like to write, and in which case I would say, you know, they should start a blog, and it doesn't have to be long or, you know, every day. It could be once a week. Some people like to talk, and they could have a series of podcasts, just like what you're doing. Right. And now a huge thing that people are doing is video, and, you know, Facebook Live is just exploding. And so it's really easy. You can just do a 30-second video and get out there and just get your message out.
Incredible. That leads me naturally into the next phase of the questions I have for you, Linda, which I'm hoping that you know, our audience are taking notes just as much as I'm doing here. You mentioned about having a plan. You know, let's talk about the first set of skills that any business owner needs to have when it comes to their digital marketing.
Well, the skill. Well, okay, the skill, if the person either needs to learn it themselves, or they need to be able to hire somebody. Correct. And I would say, you know, at least a simple website or a landing page, just so that you have a home base, is very important. Right. You know, whether somebody does it using a free website building tool, or they hire somebody, you know, like myself, to do a website for them. I think that's a really good starting place. So it can hold a repository of material. It has their contact information. And one of the things a lot of people don't think about is that you really need to have your contact information front and center on every single page. Make it really easy for them to figure that out. Incredible. So, you know, as far as trying to think, is that really a skill?
It may not be a skill, but something necessary for them really to have in order